It all began on an ordinary Tuesday evening, the kind where the neighborhood hums with lawnmowers and kids' laughter, until she showed up. My daughter, Alina, was dribbling her basketball near our driveway when the screech of tires made us both turn. A gleaming white Lexus SUV jerked to a stop, and out stormed Karen. Perfectly highlighted hair bouncing, oversized sunglasses perched on her head, that signature "I own this block" strut in full effect. She didn't even say hello. Just jabbed a manicured finger at Alina's ball and snapped, "That just hit my Mercedes." I saw it. Alina froze, confused. Her ball hadn't left our property. But Karen was already snapping photos like a crime scene investigator, muttering about reckless kids and HOA violations. Little did she know, my Ring camera had captured something far juicier earlier that morning. Her teenage son, Brad, doing donuts in that same Mercedes on the community lawn. The tire marks were still there. As Karen marched off, already dialing the HOA president, I smirked and whispered to Alina, "Oh, this is gonna be good." The HOA violation notice arrived 2 days later. Official letterhead, threatening font, the whole works, accusing Alina of destruction of private property, and demanding a $250 fine. Karen had clearly pulled strings. The photo evidence showed a basketball suspiciously photoshopped near her car's bumper. But here's where it got delicious. While Karen was busy playing neighborhood prosecutor, Brad's little joyride had gone viral in our community group. Someone had spliced the Ring footage with fast and furious music, captioning it, "HOA President's Son versus Common Sense." The comments were brutal. "Rules for thee, not for me." And "Guess apples do fall close to the tree." Meanwhile, Alina's friends turned her into a meme queen overnight, photoshopping her face onto courtroom dramas with titles like, "Innocent Until Proven Karen." I decided to have fun with my response. I printed Karen's violation letter, framed it alongside screenshots of Brad's stunt, and hung it on our front door like modern art. By sunset, neighbors were stopping to snap pictures. Karen's Mercedes hasn't parked on our street since. Karen's nuclear meltdown came at the next HOA meeting. And oh boy, it was worth every second of waiting. She arrived dressed like a corporate lawyer, pearls included, dragging Brad by his collar like some sort of human shield. The moment the board president mentioned reviewing all recent violations, Karen launched into a full Broadway-worthy monologue about targeted harassment and false narratives, her voice cracking with dramatic flair. But then, the plot twist. Mr. Rodriguez from across the street calmly stood up, pulled out his phone, and played security footage of Karen herself last Halloween, stealing candy from the community decoration bowl while muttering, "They won't miss a few." The room went dead silent. Even Brad face-bombed. Karen's face turned the exact shade of her cherry red Mercedes as the board president sighed. "We'll table Alina's violation and add this to your file." The best part. As Karen stormed out, her designer heel caught on the rug, sending her stumbling right into the snack table. A moment forever memorialized on someone's Instagram story with a caption, "Karma's a klutz." The neighborhood's revenge against Karen reached legendary status when someone, no one knows who, but we all secretly suspect it was old Mr. Thompson with his mischievous grin, started a Change.org petition titled, "Make Our HOA Meetings Actually Bearable." Within 24 hours, it had more signatures than our town's population, including people from 3 states over who just loved the drama. The petition demanded 3 things: mandatory fact-checking before complaints, a Karen clause requiring photographic evidence for all accusations, and most brilliantly, a community-funded espresso machine to help residents cope with unnecessary stress. Karen, of course, responded by printing out the petition and bringing it to the next HOA meeting as Exhibit A in her defamation case, completely missing the irony that she was proving everyone's point. The board, struggling to keep straight faces, actually implemented 2 of the demands. Now every accusation requires timestamp photos, and yes, we got that espresso machine. It sits proudly in the clubhouse with a plaque that reads, "In honor of rational thinking." Meanwhile, Karen's son Brad, who'd become something of a folk hero for rolling his eyes at his mom's antics, started a side hustle selling, "I Survived the HO t-shirts" featuring a cartoon Mercedes doing donuts. The kicker. Karen bought one, thinking it was supporting small business. The entire neighborhood watched in awe as she wore it to the next meeting, completely oblivious to the inside joke plastered across her chest. The turning point came when Karen, in her infinite wisdom, decided to escalate things to nuclear levels by calling Child Protective Services on us. Yes, CPS, claiming our household was unsafe because we allowed reckless behavior. Read. Letting Sarah skateboard in our own damn driveway. The social worker who showed up took one look at our perfectly normal home, then at the framed photos of Karen's son Tyler's spray paint masterpieces that I'd hung as art, and actually laughed out loud. "Ma'am," she said, closing her notebook, "I think your time would be better spent parenting your own child." But Karen wasn't done yet. Oh no. She took to Nextdoor with a novel-length post about government overreach and failed systems, which backfired spectacularly when the entire neighborhood flooded the comments with screenshots of her past rants about lazy parents. The piece de resistance. Old Mrs. O'Reilly from down the street, a sweet 80-year-old who everyone adores, chimed in with, "Karen dear, I've been watching you let your dog poop on my lawn for years. Maybe worry about your own house." The post got 247 laughing face emojis and was shared to 3 local meme pages. Meanwhile, Tyler, now thoroughly embarrassed by his mother's antics, started showing up at our door to apologize daily, even offering to repaint the mailboxes he'd vandalized. The kid was so desperate for normalcy that he asked Sarah to teach him how to skateboard, a development so poetic I nearly cried. Karen's reaction when she caught them practicing ollies in our driveway. Let's just say the screech could have shattered glass. The universe has a delicious sense of irony, and it served up the juiciest revenge platter when Karen's own past came back to haunt her in the most spectacular way possible. It all started when Mrs. Rodriguez from 3 houses down, who'd been quietly observing this circus from her porch swing with a martini in hand, finally decided to speak up at the next HOA meeting. "Before we discuss any new violations," she said with the calm of a woman holding 4 aces, "I think everyone should see something I found while organizing my old photos." What followed was a PowerPoint presentation so brutal it should have come with a content warning. There was Karen in 2018, illegally expanding her patio without permits. Karen in 2019, letting her dog run loose to destroy Mr. Kim's prize-winning roses. Karen in 2020, stealing the entire neighborhood's Amazon packages during lockdown for safety. But the piece de resistance. A video of Karen herself spray painting over graffiti. Except the graffiti was a child's chalk drawing on the sidewalk, and her cleanup left permanent stains on the concrete. The room erupted. Karen turned the color of expired ketchup. Even the HOA president, who'd tolerated her nonsense for years, slowly turned to her and said, "We'll be reviewing all your past complaints with renewed context." The next day, someone projected the damning footage onto Karen's garage door while the neighborhood kids sold popcorn and glow sticks. Tyler, now fully embracing his role as the neighborhood's chaotic good mascot, set up a lemonade stand with a sign, "Karen's Karma Juice, $1, free refills for victims of HOA injustice." The night of the Great HOA Showdown will go down in neighborhood history as the moment Karen's empire of pettiness finally crumbled. She arrived at the emergency meeting armed with a 3-inch thick binder labeled Evidence, which turned out to be mostly screenshots of Nextdoor arguments and blurry photos of kids existing near her property line. But the board had come prepared too. They'd hired a professional mediator, brought in a digital forensics expert to verify all the viral videos, and most deliciously, set up a live poll letting residents vote on Karen's proposed camera ban in real time. As the votes poured in, 97% against, Karen's meltdown reached operatic heights. "This is a witch hunt," she shrieked, knocking over the projector. That's when Tyler, yes, her own son, stood up. "Mom, stop." The room held its breath as he pulled out his phone. "Remember when you made me delete all those videos of you breaking rules? I may have cloud-backed them up." What followed was a greatest hits reel of Karen at her worst, keying a car that parked too close to her Mercedes, tossing patio furniture into the community pool at 3 a.m., even scribbling over a child's chalk art with permanent marker. The coup de grace. Footage of her stealing the neighborhood watch sign to use as a sled during last winter's snowstorm. The mediator didn't even try to hide her laughter. Karen's final act. storming out so fast she left her designer bag behind, which the neighborhood teens later auctioned off as a fundraiser for the new skate park, netting $1,200. The buyer, ironically, the owner of the keyed car, who proudly uses it as a dog bed. In the wake of Karen's spectacular implosion, the neighborhood underwent what historians will someday call the petty renaissance. The HOA disbanded the architectural committee entirely, replacing it with a creativity council that approved Tyler's mural of Karen's face on the community dumpster, artistically rendered as a cautionary tale about hubris. The once feared violation notices became collector's items. Someone made a quilt out of them for the annual block party raffle. Even Karen's abandoned evidence binder found new life as a guest book at the clubhouse, where residents now jot down funny stories about entitled people they've encountered. As for Karen herself, rumor has it she moved into a high-rise with notoriously strict rules, only to immediately get into a feud with the condo board about balcony herb gardens. The piece de resistance. When the new family moved into her old house, we held a purge party, burning copies of HOA violations in a bonfire, safely contained in a permitted fire pit of course, while Tyler DJ'd a remix of Another One Bites the Dust, mixed with audio clips from Karen's finest meltdowns. The ashes were later used to fertilize the community garden, where we now grow award-winning tomatoes dubbed Karen's Revenge. Ironically, the sweetest in the county. The epilogue to our Karen saga plays out daily in the little revolutions that transformed our neighborhood. Parents sipping wine while kids skateboard past the no skateboarding sign we repurposed as a coffee table. The HOA president, now affectionately called the People's Champ, wearing Tyler's I Survived the HOA shirt to meetings. Even Karen's old Mercedes spot becoming an unofficial parking space for food trucks. As for Tyler, he runs a viral TikTok series exposing ridiculous HOA rules nationwide. His mom's old rants are the most viewed episodes. The ultimate victory came when the city council used our story to pass Karen's Law, limiting how far HOAs can police petty offenses. Last I heard, Karen's trying to get her own reality show, HOA Nightmares, but producers can't believe her stories are real. Meanwhile, we've immortalized her legacy with an annual Petty Olympics. Events include competitive rule quoting and synchronized eye-rolling, where the trophy is a gold-plated replica of her infamous binder. It sits proudly in the clubhouse beside the espresso machine, a reminder that even the most tyrannical Karens can't outlast a neighborhood that bands together. And if you listen closely on quiet evenings, you can still hear the distant echo of Karma chuckling, probably while keying a Mercedes in some parallel universe.